Hi, it's Sherry. Welcome to Canterbury Cottage. Summer has officially arrived, and today I have 10 DIY projects to share with you that will add sunny charm to your home decor. I also have a few new additions to my strawberry dish collection that I want to show you. So if you love all things summer, let's get started. I've been seeing a lot of glass and wood terrariums in the stores lately and thought that I could replicate it using an inexpensive vase from the thrift store. I hot glued some moss-covered styrofoam rocks into the bottom of the vase and then stuck in some inexpensive faux succulents. To freshen up the wood on an old thrifted salad bowl, I sanded the exterior and then applied some clear wax. To adhere the vase to the salad bowl, I applied Gorilla Glue to the bottom of the vase and then inserted it into the bowl and let it dry overnight. On a recent trip to Goodwill, I picked up these grapevine balls and a large bundle of faux greenery. I stuck the grapevine ball in the top of the vase and then cut off some small branches of greenery and stuck those in the grapevine ball. I have always been attracted to colorful rag rugs, and I had this one in my basement and decided to turn it into something different. I cut the rug in half and then folded one piece over on itself and hot glued the bottom and the sides together. I would have sewn them on my sewing machine if I'd had a needle that I thought was strong enough to go through 2 layers of the rug. Once the 2 edges were glued together, I flipped it inside out so that the glued edges were on the inside. Then I folded the top edge over to highlight the fringe. To add some embellishment, I glued an assortment of buttons near the top, choosing colors that matched the rug. To create a handle, I repurposed a piece of ribbon that had come tied around a blanket that I had purchased. I hot glued each end of ribbon on the inside of the pocket on either side. To create a rag bow, I ripped strips of a piece of Dollar Tree fabric and then cut each strip into thirds. After I had created a small pile, I tied them together with another strip of fabric. Then I tied it to the handle on my rug pocket, and then I trimmed up the bow a bit. I cut the top off of a Dollar Tree water jug and inserted it in the pocket so that I could add water and real flowers if I wanted to. But I also thought that some of those faux stems that I picked up at Goodwill would look nice in this wall pocket. When I saw these round woven placemats on sale at HomeGoods, I knew exactly what I wanted to do with them. With the right sides facing out, I hot glued the edges of 2 of the placemats together, leaving a small opening. After I had filled the pillow with stuffing, I glued the small opening closed. Then I hot glued some pom-pom trim over the seam all the way around the pillow. I sewed the two remaining placemats together on my sewing machine with right sides together, leaving a small opening, and then I turned them right side out and filled the pillow with stuffing. Once the pillow was full, I hot glued the opening closed. Then I took a bag of Dollar Tree pom-poms and began hot gluing the pom-poms over the seam all the way around the pillow. I used Gorilla Hot Glue Sticks, and I'm telling you, those pom-poms are not coming off. I recently picked up a rustic and very rusty work stool at Goodwill for $2.99, and I thought I'd try to infuse it with a little cottage charm. To cover up and seal in the rust, I sprayed the metal portions with Rust-Oleum protective enamel. When the spray paint was dry, I brushed on a couple coats of Sensible Sage chalk paint. I used my orbital sander to freshen up the wood seat and to distress the metal legs. I cut a large piece of styrofoam to fit in the bottom of the stool. Then I began adding some very large faux succulents. I got all of these in one arrangement at the thrift store for just $3.99. Then I added some faux fern stems from my stash so that some of the plants would be spilling out of the bottom of the stool. I also added a rub-on transfer of a moth from the entomology package by IOD. I had been wanting to try the IOD transfers on a larger piece of furniture for quite a while, and when I saw this little entry table at Goodwill for only $4.99, I thought this would be perfect. I removed the wood embellishments from the front of the doors and sanded it smooth. Then I painted the cabinet with 2 coats of the Sensible Sage chalk paint. The doors were not staying closed, so I needed to realign the catches that had previously been installed. I also needed to adjust the hinges, but I couldn't get the flathead screws out. I lightly sanded and distressed the edges of the cabinet with 220 grit sandpaper. Then I began applying my rub-on transfers. This time I chose designs from the IOD package Whispering Willow. I used 2 large floral designs to create symmetry on each door, but then added other smaller elements to make each door unique. The original cabinet knobs were dark in color but had a pretty floral design, so I painted them with the same chalk paint and then distressed them to bring out the floral design. I thought a wax brush might disturb or scratch the IOD transfers, and so I applied a coat of protective clear wax using a soft cloth. I picked up this hard-wired ceiling lantern at the Amazon Clearance Center for just $1. Because I had no use for another ceiling light, I removed the electrical wiring and the socket. I found a wood round and a glass cloche in my stash that fit inside the lantern nicely. I hot glued the wood round to the lantern to keep it from sliding around. I flipped it over and added additional hot glue. Then I tied some jute rope through the hole in the top of the lantern so that I could easily hang it. I added a butterfly rub-on transfer to the glass cloche. I thought I would use this lantern with the cloche, but I actually think I like it better just as a small shelf. I had two old cabinet door panels in my stash that I had been wanting to use in a project for a while, and I finally figured out how I wanted to use them. First, I would apply some rub-on botanical transfers that I ordered from Amazon, and then I would attach a metal butterfly to the center of each door. I picked up these metal ones for $2 each at Hobby Lobby. The butterflies had a small D-ring attached to the back, so I just hung it from a screw that I attached to the door. Here's an easy idea to add a summery twist to an old tiered plate stand. Trade out your plates for some thrifted wicker baskets or wicker plate holders. I picked up this super cute wooden cookie jar at Goodwill for just $2.19. To get a highly distressed look, I rubbed a candle over the bucket before I painted it with a couple coats of white chalk paint. The word cookies was bleeding through the chalk paint, so I went over that area using a white spray primer. Because of the application of the candle wax, it was very easy to distress with a little sandpaper. I applied an IOD rub-on transfer, and then I distressed the transfer using some 220 grit sandpaper. I added a large piece of packing styrofoam to the bucket, and then I began adding faux stems and florals that had all come from previously thrifted arrangements. I added a bow to the handle, and I was done. For this next project, I picked up two woven placemats, or plates, or chargers. I'm not sure what they are actually, but they were only 99 cents each. I gave them both a couple coats of white chalk paint, and then I lightly distressed them using a sanding block. I applied two large floral IOD rub-on transfers to the placemats. Then I went over it with a top coat of Mod Podge to seal and protect the image. Since I needed to create a way to hang these, I decided to use some of the faux vines from that same thrifted bunch of greenery. I hot glued each end of a vine to the back of the placemat, and then I went over it with several pieces of white duct tape for good measure. For additional embellishment, I cut a flower shape from an old doily and hot glued it in the corner, and then tied a bow from some vintage lace. I love all the birds and butterflies in the IOD entomology package, but I wasn't sure what to do with all of those bug transfers. So I decided to make some small catch-all trays. First, I painted a glass leaf that I picked up at Goodwill for 99 cents using black chalk paint. Then I spray painted a Dollar Tree soap dish, first with primer and then with gold metallic spray paint. After adhering a few bugs to each tray, I sprayed them with Krylon's triple thick clear glaze. So recently, I've been adding some strawberry-themed china to the red and white dishes that I already had in my built-in cabinet. The collection began purely by chance after I thrifted 3 strawberry canisters intending to paint over them. However, I discovered they were a mid-century collectible selling for $200 on eBay. So I decided to keep them. And since then, I've been picking up other strawberry-themed dishes when I see them at the thrift store. And recently, a super sweet viewer named Tara Pearson sent me an Italian ceramic bowl and platter that she recognized matched a few pieces in my collection. I hope you enjoyed today's video and got some ideas that you can use in your own home. I think my favorite project today was the butterfly wall art, but I'm kind of obsessed with butterflies right now. I hope you'll let me know which project was your favorite. Well, thank you so very much for watching. Get out there and enjoy the summer, and I hope to see you next Tuesday. Bye-bye for now.